webinar regarding something that's typically not interesting, but it's something everybody deals with, which is taxation and how to do things correctly, how to sell cross-border within the EU on Shopify. We're going to talk about compliance, but also conversion. My name is Ștefan Chiriacescu. I am the co-founder of e-Commerce Today agency. And with me today on the call, I have Diana from our team, who is our head of digital experience. And I have Federico and Eduardo from e.Finaxit, who are going to talk about the compliance side of things and taxes. Hello, guys.
Hello. Hi, Stefan.
Hi. I'm going to just say a couple of words about e-commerce today, and then everybody's going to introduce themselves so you kind of know who to look forward to listening to a lot on our webinar today. Again, my name is Stefan. I co-founded e-Commerce Today agency. I'm an ex-e-commerce business owner. I've done e-commerce ever since I was in college. I had a business in Romania, built it, sold it, then moved into freelance work consulting with clients from the US. And today, I'm the CEO of e-Commerce Today agency, which is an agency that has 35 people working in it today, specialists, and we are a full-service agency doing specializing in Shopify. We did Magento and WooCommerce and others in the past, but now we specialize on Shopify, and we help businesses grow. With me, from my team today is Diana, who is our head of digital experience, and I'll let her tell you a few words about her role in our organization. Diana?
So I'm Diana. I'm a senior e-commerce strategist with experience in digital retail, UX design, and conversion optimization. And I'm also the team leader of our Shopify experts team. Today, I will discuss the Shopify and the localization and how to set things up correctly in Shopify.
Short, sweet, effective. Well done. Fantastic. Now we are going to go to our partners from e.Finaxit. Eduardo, Federico, I'll let you guys, I'll actually name one. So Eduardo, why don't you tell us a few words about yourself? You're next on my screen here.
Yes, thank you, Stefan. Hello, everyone. My name is Eduardo Guttadavia, and I am the responsible of extended producer responsibility services in e.Finaxit, and I will talk to you about this, the compliance after this regulation in the European Union.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And Federico.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for attending this webinar. Thank you, Stefan, for having us, and Diana. My name is Federico Falascina. I am the CEO and co-founder of e.Finaxit. I'm a tax advisor. I have experience since more than a decade on VAT compliance in the European Union, and I'm an expertise in VAT on e-commerce. So today we're going to talk about the main pillars of the VAT compliance for e-commerce companies in the European Union. Can I go forward, Stefan, or do you want to add something?
Let me just say a couple of words about the structure of today's webinar, and then I'll hand you the talking stick. So we've spread this webinar to cover A to Z, what you need to do to expand cross borders within the European Union. From in the very beginning, Federico and Eduardo are going to cover the technicalities, compliance, tax, European regulations, and what you need to take into account when you want to make this step, when you want to sell cross-border. Then Diana will pick up the conversation and talk about how to do this in Shopify, not just from a compliance and legal perspective, but from an actually functionality perspective and user experience. And I will cover just at the very end, the final part, which is going to be the email automation side of things, which is how do you adjust your email automation strategy when you want to sell cross-border. So we try to cover the entire experience as much as we can. Of course, we can talk about this for weeks and work on this for months, but right now we want to give everybody a crash course into this. So Federico, I'm going to put myself on mute right now, and I'm going to let you go through your presentation.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, as I said, VAT compliance for e-commerce in the European Union is basically made by three pillars, which are the VAT registration, the OSS scheme, and the IOSS scheme. We will see in detail each one of these. First of all, the VAT registration, let's start by saying that is always needed when you are storing goods in another member state. So if you are moving inventory from your home country to another European member state without any property transfer, so you are the owner of the goods and you hold the goods in your home country and in the country where they are delivered in a warehouse, in a 3PL or whatever, you are responsible for VAT. So you are VAT liable in that country. So as an example, if you are a Romanian company which is using a 3PL in Germany, so you are storing goods ready to be sold and ready to be dispatched from Germany, you must apply for a VAT registration in Germany and file VAT returns every month or every quarter. It depends on the volume of sales. This is mandatory. So this is the first rule. When you move an inventory in another country, you must have a VAT registration there. The second pillar is the OSS scheme, which is very helpful because, and sometimes it's complementary to the VAT registration because it allows sellers to pay VAT in the country of delivery of the goods only for cross-border trades on B2C transactions. So if you are, let's use the same example as before, a Romanian company, and you are shipping your goods directly to end customers, so only B2C transactions in Spain or France or any other EU country, you can account for VAT and pay VAT in the country of delivery through the OSS without having to register with the VAT registration in that country. Most of the time, it's not very clear that the OSS scheme can be applied even to cross-border trades shipped from a country different from the one where you are established in. So,
is there? I'm sorry to interrupt. Is there a limit to OSS? So, for example, I have a company in Romania and I want to start selling to clients in Hungary, in Central Europe, but EU countries, okay? So I'm going to be shipping the orders directly from my own warehouses, which are based in Romania. Is there a limit to the OSS? To the point where I have to
there's no limit. There's no limit. You can reach high volumes, no problem. There's a threshold. There's a minimum threshold, which is 10,000 euros globally in the EU. After that, the OSS scheme is mandatory. So you must adhere to the OSS scheme and pay the VAT in the country of delivery under the threshold of 10,000 euros globally. You can choose to tax the goods in your home country, so in the country of departure.
Got it. Thank you so much for the answer.
And so, yeah, it's complementary with the VAT registration usually because if you have only a warehouse or a warehouse only in the country where you are established, you can choose to register for the OSS scheme, and you will be compliant in the whole European Union. But if you have some warehouses in other EU countries, you must have a VAT registration too, along with the OSS scheme registration. So you will have to activate both.
One more quick question to follow up on this one, because we had this from clients, are you certain this legislation applies to all EU member countries, or is it possible that in Romania there's a different OSS scheme?
No, the OSS scheme is the same in the whole European Union. So it's working, it's a European regulation. So it's basically the same in every country of the European Union.
Thank you for the confirmation.
You're welcome. And the third pillar is the IOSS scheme, which is related to import. So the acronym is Import One-Stop Shop. So if you are an European company or a third country company, it doesn't matter, and you're selling to end customers in the European Union, but you ship goods directly from a third country, so I don't know, China or USA or any country outside the European Union, you can account for VAT with the IOSS. There are some requirements, of course. As you can see, there's a maximum value of the goods, which is 150 euros, which is related to the goods only. So it's excluding any VAT, of course. It's excluding any tariff or insurance or shipping costs. So it's only related to the product. And the goods which are subject to excise duties cannot be relevant to the IOSS. As you cannot account for VAT on these products using the IOSS. So it's a great simplification. And from 2028, the intrinsic value not exceeding the 150 euros will be deleted. So the IOSS will be allowed to be used for any import sold directly to end customers in the European Union.
That's going to be great.
I don't know if there are
of people's minds. I wanted to ask you,
it's
the UK falls in this category of countries, right? The UK, the United Kingdom. If you ship orders out of the UK within the European Union, out of a UK warehouse.
Yes, it can be used, but yes, UK, let's start by saying that the UK are outside the European Union. That's true after the Brexit, but when it comes to VAT compliance, VAT regulations, they are still with, let's say, 1 foot in the European Union, because in the most European countries, the British companies are still allowed to get a direct VAT identification, a direct VAT registration.
Okay.
So it's not required to British companies to appoint a VAT representative. So it's very cost effective, first of all, and it's easier because you don't have to look for a tax representative, which is jointly liable for VAT. So it's very easy for British companies to account for VAT in the European Union, even after the Brexit.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, so we have prepared some real cases about VAT compliance in the European Union. But first of all, let me remind all the audience that we have a poll. It will be shared soon by Stefan. And there are a couple of questions in order to understand where is your company, where are your companies based. So, okay, we have Romania. Okay, great. This is basically required because companies outside the European Union, except for a few countries, and the United Kingdom are among these, are required to appoint a tax representative in the European Union. So it's useful for us to understand where the audience of e-commerce today is mostly based. Okay, so about the real cases. We have, the first one was a VAT overpayment in Germany. The company had a refund of 5,200 euros. This is very, unfortunately, this is, it's not rare because we've seen many cases like this one I'm talking about, because most of the time VAT accountants, tax advisors in general are they have a difficulty to understand which transactions must be declared, must be filed through the VAT registration in a certain country, and which ones are to be declared through the OSS. So we have seen many cases like this. The taxpayer is paying the VAT, let's say in France, for sales in France through the VAT registration and through the OSS, the same transactions. So it's a double payment of VAT. So we talk with the tax authorities, and we show them all the documents and all the tax reports in order to amend the erroneous VAT declaration, and they get the refund for the double payment of VAT. The second case was with an Amazon seller, which was using the commingling program of Amazon in Poland. So basically, Amazon was selling the products to this company in Poland, and this company was shipping them throughout Europe. So they had a big VAT credit in Poland because they had many purchases in Poland, but the VAT was accounted with the OSS because they were shipping the goods from Poland to end customers in the whole European Union. So a big amount of money was with the credit, with the VAT credit, and we explained with you know, it took some time because unfortunately most of the time the tax authorities are not very into the e-commerce logistic programs. They're not aware how the things are working. So it wasn't. It was very not very easy to let the Polish authorities understand what the commingling program by Amazon is. But after that, we made it, and the taxpayer got his refund from the Polish authorities.
So this is a Polish company that was paying VAT to the local IRS or finance authority in Poland, and you, with e.Finaxit, out of Italy, you built a case, and then you went with that case to the Polish financial authority, and you presented the situation, and you were empowered by your Polish client to be their representatives, and you basically managed to get them this 70,000 euros credit from their local authorities. Do you typically work directly with the local authorities, or do you work with your clients' financial advisors or accountants as well?
Both. We most of the time we talk directly with the tax authorities because the financial advisors sometimes are not aware of the EU regulations on tax compliance.
Okay.
They are expert most of the time in VAT compliance for local sales. So they're not aware how things are going with the OSS, with the VAT registration for non-resident companies.
Yep.
So we typically we talk with the tax authorities directly, and when it's needed a particular information that we do not know, so we have to refer to the local tax advisor. We are available to talk to them, of course.
That's good, and I confirm this. Our clients ask even us for like tax advice when it comes to expanding internationally, and we have to always tell them, look, we're not financial advisors, we're not accountants, we're not lawyers. From what we've heard from our other clients that have done this, it works like this, but talk to your accountant. My accountant said he or she doesn't know. Okay, then we have a problem. But it's good that
That's it. Most of the time, that's how things are typically going. Yeah.
So it's not just in Romania for the people from Romania. It's all over Europe.
No, it's all over Europe. Yeah, it's all over Europe. Yeah, that's sure. Okay, so I was having a look at the poll. So we have some answers. Okay, they're all from Romania, so they're EU based. So it's very easy for EU-based companies to get about registration in another member state or to go through the OSS scheme. So you won't need any VAT representative to get a VAT registration in France or Germany or Italy or any other EU country.
I'm going to go back to asking you about the UK, because we have clients in the UK as well.
Okay, let me jump in. Thank you, Federico. So I'm going to talk about the extended producer responsibility concept. It's an application of the polluter pays principle. So basically, the idea is that if a company produces goods, it should be responsible not only of the sale, but also of the end of the life of the product. This principle applies to Shopify and to e-commerce as well. If you are based in Romania, for example, and you sell to customers in France, Germany, or other European Union countries, you may be subject to registration in the various EPR systems. Because at the moment, each country has different organizations dealing with this.
Okay. Let's see the obligations.
So, of course, the concept is about producers. But even if you are a seller, so you don't produce, you don't have a factory, you are considered like a producer if you are the first to put on the market a product. So, for example, if you import, I don't know, a PC or a perfume or a piece of furniture in Germany or in France, you are the first company to put on the market this product. And so you will need to register for the right category of EPR. And you will have to declare, most of the time, the quantity of the products you have sold in that specific country. and you will have to pay an environmental contribution based on the quantity you sold.
The contribution is based on the quantity sold or the quantity imported?
The quantity if you are based, okay, if you are the first to put on the market the product, so if you are importing the product.
Okay.
If you are selling your products to another business in Germany, and then this business will sell the product, most of the time the business you sell to will be the producer. So you will not need to declare these products, because we are talking about products that move, for example, from France to Germany or from Italy to Germany. So you deliver. So you are, of course, the company, the last step before the consumers. And you will need to make a declaration for these products.
Got it. Okay. Complicated.
So which kind of products are affected? I want to underline that in some countries, companies must register only if their sales are above a threshold. So, for example, in the Netherlands, if you sell a limited quantity of products, if you have only started your business, you will not probably reach the threshold for packaging, for example. But the most common categories are the following: the packaging, that basically is part of many products, and even if you sell without packaging, you will put your product in a paperboard box. So even the paperboard box will be considered as packaging. It will be a secondary packaging, but it will be packaging. And in this case, if you sell through a platform together with other sellers, the platform will ask you to declare only a part of the box, because you are sharing the boxes. Another important category is the electronic and electrical equipment. So the acronym for the waste is WEEE. And of course, the batteries. Not all the sellers decide to include the batteries in their electronic devices, but if you include them, if you sell batteries as a part of the products, you will need to register for batteries as well. Other EPR categories that are increasing as importance are textile, that include not only clothes, but also shoes, and single-use plastic. Single-use plastic can be, of course, plastic cups, like the ones you can see in the slide, but also balloons and also food containers, for example. In this slide, we tried to give you a picture of the different categories in the most important European Union markets. So, for example, in Germany, you need to register for packaging, electronic devices, battery, and single-use plastic. In France, you will need to register for many more categories, because they decided to adopt a very strict and detailed regulation. So you will not find only packaging, WE, battery, and single-use plastic, but also textile, furniture, sport articles, and so on. In Spain, we have at the moment only packaging, WE, and battery, while in Austria, they added also single-use plastics. In the Netherlands, to conclude, you will need registration for packaging if you are above a certain threshold, WEE, and batteries. In this slide, you can see the key mistakes to avoid when you decide to expand your business internationally. Because, of course, selling online and building your Shopify store is not only preparing the business plan, know your market, know the targets of your customers, but it's also about compliance. So, of course, if you sell without proper VAT registration, then the tax authorities can knock to your door and ask you, why have you not registered? What are you doing? Maybe you have to pay this and this for the last year or for the last couple of years. So to avoid any surprise, it's better to have a tax consultant or to be prepared for that compliance. And of course, you will need to look at the product compliance. So if you need to test in the laboratory, if you need to send a certificate, and of course, if you need to add an EPR registration number, because some platforms have already started to ask to their sellers to provide this registration number. If you don't have this, they will disable your advertisements on the platform. And of course, if you are not compliant, this will affect your ability to scale your business and to expand internationally. So yes, I think that with this slide, we wanted to make a synthesis of these mistakes. And yes, I think this was the last, the last slide from ourselves. So I thank you for the attention, and I leave the stage to our colleagues from e-commerce today.
Thank you, Eduardo and Federico. So before we get into the weeds, let me ask you this. How many of you have ever abandoned the cart just because something felt off? So maybe the prices suddenly showed up in a foreign currency, maybe the taxes popped up at the very last second, or maybe you just weren't sure if the store was legit. I'm pretty sure everyone did this at some point. And at the checkout is where the customers make their final judgment call. Is the digital handshake that says, yes, I trust you with my money. And here is the wild part. Brands spend huge amounts of money on ads, on building beautiful stores, on growing traffic, but then lose sales at the very last click, just because the checkout isn't localized or doesn't feel trustworthy. That's why in today's webinar, I will show you how to turn your checkout from a drop-off point into your strongest conversion engine. And we'll cover the following: how to adapt language, currency, taxes, and payments to fit each region, the UX tweaks that quietly boost trust and completion rates, and a real Shopify case study who nailed it in this competitive European Union market. So if this sounds good, let's just dive in. Let's start with the basics: language, currency, and tax settings. So think about walking into a store abroad. If the labels are in a language that you don't understand, prices are in some foreign currency, and you only find out about the VAT at the register, you're probably not buying much. Online shoppers feel the exact same way. The good news is that Shopify lets you run multi-language storefronts using Translate and Adapt. You can automatically detect a visitor's browser language, but, and this is the key, you always have to give them the option to switch manually. So nothing kills trust like being stuck in the wrong language. When it comes to currency, shoppers want to see prices in the money that they use every day. Shopify Payments makes multi-currency easy and even lets you round prices so they look natural. So for example, instead of having 27.43 euros, it rounds to 29.99. And this tiny detail can make a very big difference. Now, the taxes, this one is about transparency. In the European Union, customers expect to see the VAT included upfront. In the US, customers are used to seeing taxes added at checkout. If you don't get this right, people feel tricked, and tricked shoppers do not convert. Shopify can automate most of this for you, but you need to make sure that the display is aligned with local expectations. So here is the takeaway. Language, currency, and tax settings aren't just technical setups. They're signals of respect. You're showing customers we thought about you and we built the store with you in mind. And that kind of trust carries them along the finish line. So now let's Let's zoom out a bit.
Just one small disclaimer: we don't work for Shopify. We love Shopify.
We're just
and
very happy to work with Shopify, not for Shopify.
very fortunate, yeah, to have found Shopify like 6 years ago, 7 almost. Everything that Diana just mentioned so far, that's native functionality in Shopify. And if you know Magento, if you know WooCommerce, if you know self-hosted CMSs, you know that functionality is not native to self-hosted CMSs. So, yeah, great job for the functionality that exists, and it's so easily available to shoppers today. I'll stop the parentheses, Dana.
Okay, so now let's zoom out from just language and currency and look at the bigger picture. How do you serve different regions smoothly? This is where Shopify Markets becomes your best friend. Think of it as mission control for global localization, where you can decide which regions you want to sell to, set custom pricing and taxes for each, and even tailor product availability or shipping rules per market. So instead of running 10 different stores and basically losing your mind, you can manage it in one dashboard. But here's the secret sauce: geolocation. With a geolocation app, your store can gently guide the customer to the right experience. So think of a shopper in Paris that lands on your website. The app suggests, hey, want to shop in French and buy in Euro? This tiny prompt can make a very big difference between browsing and buying. So it's not just about language and currency. You can show region-specific content, delivery timelines that make sense for the location, seasonal promotions that are tied to their local holidays, and even messaging that feels culturally relevant. Because here's the truth: customers don't want to feel like they're shopping on a foreign site. They want the store to feel like it was built for them, and multi-region support plus geolocation offers just that. Now, let's talk money, literally. One of the easiest ways to lose a sale is to offer the wrong payment methods. It doesn't matter how great your product is. If a shopper doesn't see their go-to way of paying, they'll just bounce. And the kicker: preferences aren't universal. They're deeply regional. So for example, in Europe, shoppers love shop now, pay later kind of options like Klarna and local debit systems. So credit cards are still used, but alternative payments often feel safer and more flexible. In North America, cards are king here, but do not underestimate PayPal, ShopPay, Apple Pay, and Google Pay. One-click digital wallets are huge drivers of conversion rate. In Asia, it's a completely different world. We have Alipay, we have WeChat Pay, and other local wallets dominate. So in fact, in some markets, credit card penetration is surprisingly low compared to mobile payments. In Latin America, cash-based and installment payments are common. So we have Boleto in Brazil, OXXO in Mexico, and Pix for instant bank transfers. And shoppers expect more flexible ways to pay beyond just credit. The good news is Shopify payments plus third-party gateways make most of this available. The key is just knowing your market and activating at least 2 or 3 local favorites alongside with the global standards. Because here's the reality: checkout is not a place to educate your customers about new ways to pay. If they don't see what feels normal to them, they won't adapt and they will just leave. Great. So now we localized the basics: language, currency, and payments. Now let's talk about the human side of the checkout, which is the user experience. This is where the little details either seal the deal or make customers running. So when it comes to trust, you have to know that trust is the invisible currency of e-commerce. Without it, nobody is pulling out their credit cards. And I prepared this list with top 3 must-have elements for trust. So first of all, we have reviews. Shoppers trust other shoppers more than they trust your brand copy. So putting reviews and ratings close to the checkout reassures them that they're not the first ones to take the leap. The next one is policies, and links to shipping, returns, and privacy should be easy to spot on, not hidden in some dusty footer. When policies are clear, people feel safe. And the last one is shipping and returns. So customers want to know how long will this take and what happens if it's not right. If you can offer free or easy returns, just shout it from the rooftops. The next one is about the cart UX. So even a tiny friction point can trigger an abandoned cart. So here is what smooth looks like. You have to offer one-click express checkout. So think Apple Pay, Google Pay, Shop Pay. This let returning customers buy with literally one tap. So no forms, no friction. On mobile especially, this is a game changer. The fewer fields a shopper has to fill in, the fewer chances they have to abandon the cart. The next one is trust seals. So we have SSL badges, Visa, MasterCard logos, PayPal, secure checkout icons. They might seem decorative to you, but they work like a subconscious safety net. And the last one, delivery expectations. You should replace standard shipping with something like arrives by Thursday. It's specific and it's reassuring and it reduces hesitation. Now, the magic of the UX is that none of these things scream at the customer. They're just quietly remove doubts. And when doubt disappear, conversion goes up. So ask yourself this: does your checkout whisper, "Don't worry, you're safe here at every step"? If not, you've got some easy wins waiting for you. And the last one that I want to talk about is a case study. Let me give you a real world example from a brand, a client of ours that nailed checkout localization. Rea Costa. For those who don't know, Rea Costa is a luxury Romanian fashion brand that creates stunning and custom-made dresses, the kind of pieces that you see at weddings, at high-profile events. The problem was that they had the global appeal, but their challenge was this: how do you make an online store feel as personal and seamless as their atelier experience, especially when selling cross borders? And this is what they did. First of all, do you want to say something, Stefan?
No, I just wanted to say that the products that this brand sells are super high profile. They are all over Hollywood and red carpet, and so they have a fantastic experience when you go to their showroom. It's out of this world. When you enter that showroom, it's completely different from any like shopping experience for apparel. So they wanted to convert this, and that's why they moved over to Shopify, and they wanted to have to take this experience and to make sure that they, it's online, it's impersonal, but at least let's try to get the basics out of the way for internationalization. And yep, that's what I wanted to say.
So in terms of localization strategy, they did three things. They made sure that customers in Europe could pay the way that they wanted to. So not just credit cards, but PayPal and regionally preferred options too. Seamless payments means less hesitation. The next one, prices show up in local currencies, and VAT is automatically calculated at checkout, especially for the European Union customers. So no surprises, no confusion, just trust. And the last one, they went even further by tailoring their marketing. So customers in different regions see banners and prices that make sense for their market. Pricing is not just converted, is specifically adjusted for each region. And the result, by localizing their Shopify store, Rea Costa did not just boost conversion at home in Romania. They expanded internationally while still giving each customer the feeling that the site was built just for them. So the personalized experience became their competitive edge in the end. So if you're not from Romania and you don't know the brand, I just suggest that you browse Rea Costa and let us know your thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you. You said something earlier about trust seals, and there's one more thing here. Different countries have different trust authorities. Let's call them that. Like in Romania, it's trusted.ro, for example, something that a lot of companies are familiar with and a lot of consumers are familiar with. So visitors, shoppers, buyers, if they see that badge on their 90% of their online e-commerce stores where they buy, they're going to relate to that more than they're going to relate to something like McAfee, Site Secure, and so on. So So another tip here or trick in order to improve and personalize your experience for customers in their countries is just to do either a short chat GPT or some research for yourself and look at what are the top trust authorities in the country where you want to expand to. And even though you cannot do it on the actual checkout within Shopify unless you're on Plus, you are going to be able to add those trust badges or seals, as long as you obtain them, of course, from those authorities. And then when someone from, I don't know, Bulgaria is going to be on a product page and they're going to see the trust badge from the biggest, trust authority in Bulgaria, it's going to make a lot more sense to them to have that personalized experience. So this is just a trick. Stay on so you can hear more tricks. Okay, so thank you, Diana. That was a wonderful presentation and a lot of knowledge that you shared with our audience. Thank you for that. Now, at e-commerce today, we think that there's two things you need in order to be successful with e-commerce in general. Those two things are like a strong, solid foundation, which is the website where you're going to actually have your visitors and you're going to conduct your business. And the second one is the email automation side of things, which actually we just call it customer experience, but let's stick to email automation to simplify things. We feel like these two are equally important if you want to have a profitable business, if you want to have a profitable Shopify store. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of companies out there don't even have the basic fundamental flows in place. And they are important because you're paying a lot of money for every single click that goes to your website. There's no such thing as free traffic. And when that traffic lands on your site, when that visitor lands on your site, you have to do everything in your power to capture the client information and to bring them back onto your website at lower costs. I'm going to quickly go through these flows. The flows we normally implement for every single new client that starts working with us are the welcome flow, site abandon, browse abandon, cart abandon, checkout abandon, and the new customer flow. These automation flows cover basically every single, all the very important actions pre-purchase and for new customers. And their goal is to capture email addresses so that you don't have to pay to bring that traffic back in a remarketing campaign on Meta or TikTok or Instagram or Google. No, you can just send them an email now at much lower costs and have the abandonment flows in place, but not just cart abandon like 99% of the companies out there do. You need to have site abandonment for people that land on your site but don't actually look at products and show them products. You need to have browse abandonment for people that look at products but don't add to cart, so you can show them, remind them about the product they were looking at and show them your best-selling products on your website. You need to have cart abandonment for people that use the cart as a wish list and forget about it. You need to have checkout abandonment to incentivize at least the first order from any new visitor. And you need to have new customer to onboard a new customer, train them into who you are as a brand, why they should buy from you and not from Amazon or EMAG, and then incentivize the second purchase. Now, these are the fundamental flows that we tell and we implement for every single new client that starts working with us. But as you can imagine, we implement these in the customer's native language, default language. If you're talking about expanding internationally, you have to consider that you need to start talking to the new customers in their own language. 70% of our client base is international and typically North America, UK, English-speaking countries. So we normally start with English as the primary language. But let's say we start with Romanian in this case. And let's say that we want to expand over into Hungary, for example. What we want to do is we want to be able to tag visitors from Hungary. We want to be able to tag them. Just add a tag in Shopify. It really depends on the email marketing service that you're using, how you're going to relay this information. Klaviyo has one functionality, Omnisend has another, the marketer has another, and so on. But you want to be able to identify them and tag them. And then within all of these splits, all of these flows, you want to add splits based on language. Does the customer have this tag? If yes, just clone your flows and translate them. And with the AI LLMs that we have today, translation is at everybody's reach, even doing like a really good job, like keeping your brand voice in that other language. It's there. So tag or identify your customers either by geolocation, by browser language, by language preference, because you can actually add that within pop-ups, and use this data to personalize, of course, the currency that you display in the emails, the shipping expectations, holiday campaigns, and so on and so forth. Very important. This is the split within the email flows, which is very important because otherwise people are going to unsubscribe, unfortunately. So you lose that subscriber. And second of all, you can actually get abuse reports from people because you're not doing the bare minimum. And of course, compliance and best practices. Read up on your GDPR, read up on your CCPA, on local regulations. Make sure you have double opt-in implemented, even though lots of companies out there say it's not necessary. According to the law, you don't want to have that conversation with any sort of authority. You don't want to leave yourself open to any sort of bad actors out there. And the truth is, double opt-in is very good for any company out there because you are limiting attacks on your website when you have double opt-in implemented. If you don't have double opt-in implemented and you don't have any sort of protection, even on Shopify, you can actually be part of an attack where you get spam bots and you just send out a lot of emails to Gmail addresses, for example, that bounce and you get blacklisted. And it's not a pretty process getting removed from a blacklist. We've done it for clients in the past. It's doable, but it's something avoidable. And with double opt-in, you ensure you have an engaged subscriber base. So double opt-in, consent tracking, have the unsubscribe button in the local language, have it normal sized on the newsletter. Don't use white font on white background or black font on black background. It's not good. It doesn't help you. People do you a service when they unsubscribe, because they know you no longer send them an email. You don't pay for that send, number one. And number two, you improve your sender reputation when you send to people who actually open your emails. And yeah, do country-based segments for newsletters, of course. Localize your content in newsletters and test sending times based on the actual time zone. That's pretty much it. So have a solid foundation and then clone it, identify your foreign customers, and of course, translate everything you have there, personalize their experience. Remember the trust badges we were talking about earlier? We use elements that can grow confidence of anybody who opens an email that we send out. And these trust badges are important. So use trust badges from those specific countries. Okay. This was actually very helpful. I've heard this information before. I've looked over the slides before doing this webinar. But Federico, Eduardo, it was really great hearing it from you right now. And I could hear myself thinking and having more questions. We have a couple more minutes left. And I wanted to ask you, Federico, let's say we have a company, a client of ours in Romania. They do customizable desks. And these are quite heavy items. So they're not going to want to ship them out of the Romanian warehouse into Germany for a long period of time. Maybe they do it in the beginning so that they can test the market out, but lose on shipping. They're going to want to start, sending some of these desks and using a 3PL service, basically. What steps do they need to take today in order to start this venture?
So they are using a 3PL in Germany?
Not yet.
No, not yet. Okay, but they will.
they just want to get started to expand outside of Romania.
Okay.
They want to
Well,
test the waters first.
The VAT registration follows the where the goods are shipped. So if they are shipping their desks from Romania directly to customers, the OSS, it would be enough in the European Union. When they will decide to store goods in a different country, to be able to ship goods to German customer in a shortest time, in that case, they would be required to get a VAT registration in Germany.
Okay, so first step, do it from here, use OSS, and then once you want to
That's
scale
right. That's right. If you want to test the product, the sales, and you are okay with the shipping
results.
time from Romania to the European Union. So of course, shipping from Romania to Germany will take more than to Germany from Germany. If they're okay with it, they can choose to start with the OSS and start selling in Germany. And after that, if they see that the product is working fine in the German market, they can choose to appoint a 3PL in Germany and move an inventory of goods. 1 unit, 10 units, 1,000 units, it doesn't matter. They would need to be VAT registered in Germany.
Got it. And Eduardo, for EPR, what does this client of ours need to take into account before they start this process of selling in other countries other than Romania? You're on mute.
Yes, but can you repeat, please, the question?
Yeah. So with regards to EPR,
Yes.
the EPR part of things, what does our client need to take into account before they start to sell their desks? These are going to be desks with wood, electronics, a bit of plastic on them. So what do they need to take into account when they sell in Germany?
Okay, if they sell in Germany, these desks with electronics, and they will need to register in the packaging register, and also to subscribe an agreement with a dual system, because there are two, like to pass to solo, you need to register with the public authority, but also with an organization of producers for packaging. And you will need to register as well with your organization in the WEE register, and to declare how much electronic devices you sell. And of course, you will need to declare the plastic and the paperboard packaging as well. It's important to know that the WEE declarations are monthly, while the packaging declarations are yearly. So it's straightforward to declare the packaging, while for the WEE you need to follow and to have reports every month.
So this is something that could be externalized to e.Finaxit?
Yes, of course.
Wonderful.
We provide this kind of services. Thank you for the question. And we can follow you through the registration and through declarations. And of course, we are available also to answer your questions if you just need some basic information. And we have, of course, some reminders. So if you decide to work with us, we will send you emails, and we will contact you to send us the report. Or we can also set up a system to download the report on your behalf. So you will not need to care about any part of the process.
There's a lot of things that e-commerce business owners worry about today. So EPR should ideally be one less thing to worry about. So it's great to have e.Finaxit services here. Eduardo, Federico, Diana, thank you so much for your time today. I hope this information was useful to the people attending. We're going to have a recording here, so we're going to be able to share it after the presentation with the attendees and people that may have missed or joined later. Until our next webinar, thank you guys. Have a wonderful day, and good luck with your sales.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.